News View, here for you. Hello again and welcome to News View on a Friday night in Urbana and Champaign, Springfield, and some of the rest of the area in Illinois. And tonight's top story, the Lung Association is telling us that smoking is costing Illinois $12.7 billion a year. They say that healthcare expenses, lost productivity in work, and premature death are all what is costing this money from smoking in the state. They say for $6 you can get a pack of cigarettes, and the state, though, has to pay $22 or loses $22 a pack of cigarettes at the same time. They also say that for each dollar the state would spend getting people to quit smoking, that would return them $1.29 each time. And Dateline Champaign, Illinois, 88 years of poultry science articles are going to become available online. That's right, the Poultry Science Association Foundation announced that they reached their initial fundraising goals and began their legacy project with the goal of making thousands of poultry-related research papers available to scientists online for the first time. They're going to scan, index, and make available online more than 600 back issues of Poultry Science running from 1921 to 1996, and its predecessor journals, the International Association Instructors and Investigators in Poultry Husbandry Proceedings. Wow, what a title. From 1908 to 1912, along with the Journal of the American Association of Instructors and Investigators in Poultry Husbandry from 1914 to 1921. If you want to make a contribution or have questions or want to know more, go to poultryScience.org/legacygift.asp. And this is from Meat Trade News Daily .co.uk. And in other news, former President Jimmy Carter has come out, according to 60 Minutes, in an interview and has slammed the now deceased Ted Kennedy on his health care ideas. He says that Ted Kennedy delayed comprehensive coverage for Americans for decades, and he said it was Kennedy who killed his health care bill that made Americans wait more than 30 years for meaningful coverage. And this is what Jimmy Carter has told Lesley Stahl of 60 Minutes. And he lamented Ronald Reagan's dismantling of the White House solar panels he had put on it. And we'll return after this break.
Travel advisories to small business loans, government car auctions to finding a new job. To get information, go to the official source, usa.gov. And in our other news for tonight, the poverty rate in America is at its highest level in a half century, according to data provided by statistics such as from the Census Bureau, who announced this on Wednesday. And 1 in 7 Americans is in poverty at this time. It rose from 13.2% in 2008 to 14.3%, or 43.6 million people last year in 2009. Asians were the only ethnic group where the poverty rate didn't change substantially. All other races and Hispanics experienced increases in poverty rates, as well as 51 million Americans who were uninsured, and as the number of health care insurance, people with health care insurance dropped from 255 million to less than 254 million. This was the first decrease since the government started keeping records on this in 1987. The number would have been worse because 6.5 million people got insurance through their jobs, but that was offset by leaping government-backed health insurance. Over 30% of Americans get coverage from the government at this time, and it's likely to go on for a while anyway. And this is at the Washington Post, and the headline they give is "Poverty Rate at Highest Level in Half Century, Data Show." And the next story, a U.S. whooping cough outbreak has caused Australia to issue a warning to travelers to the United States.
the Foreign Affairs Department said that some American states have been hit by the disease, including California, where 9 babies have died of whooping cough recently, and several states have reported an increase of whooping cough outbreaks or pertussis, including a statewide epidemic that is in California. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says it's not necessary to delay travel to an area experiencing a pertussis outbreak, but visitors should make sure they're up to date on their shots. And this one is from Breitbart.com, and it's called Australia Warning Over Deadly U.S. Whooping Cough Outbreak. Australia warning over deadly U.S. whooping cough outbreak. And in some other news from Examiner.com, Bob Dylan is scheduled to be having a concert at the University of Illinois Assembly Hall on October the 22nd of this year. You can, the tickets are available from Ticketmaster, and that is according to Examiner.com. And here's some news from Australia. A group of people in Australia have started what is now Australia's own Tea Party group, inspired by the U.S.-based movement that has turned the Republican Party upside down. And according to this story, the Australian TEA Party, or Text Enough Already, is going to target sections of Australia and promotes links to their friends in the United States, I guess on their website. It doesn't say, but David Goodridge says, just call me the website editor, and they say, quote, unquote, we have been around for a little while, but we made a conscious decision not to involve ourselves at the last election. We're not a political party. We are a political movement. We influence parties that already exist. And that's a quote from David Goodridge, who is one of the Tea Party spokesmen in Australia now. And he said they have not received any U.S. funding, and that would not be appropriate to do so. But he is looking to update and adapt the U.S. training videos for Australian audiences. So the Tea Party is getting even bigger. It's even international now, in Australia at least. And in our last story for tonight before the break and the weather, a teenager in Gladwin, Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, has started to ride his horse to school. he goes through quiet streets and past silhouetted mansions, passing bicyclists who turn their heads startled looking at him on his horse, and cars slowing down and stuff like that, as you may imagine. And they say that this high school student who is a sophomore at the Haverford School, which is an elite private school, that says here, the student says, quote, it's a nice way to start the day. He says he saddles up the 12-year-old Jindling at a stable at his family's Gladwayne estate. It's 6 a.m., hours before the school bell rings. The idea was his dad's, says the teen, who came up with the idea this summer while the family was vacationing at its cattle ranch in Montana. The two were joking about how parents like to tell their children how hard they had it growing up. And he says, my dad just said, Robbie, you should ride your horse to school every day, says Birch, a fair-haired 16-year-old with the grit and politeness of a ranch hand. Birch, who began riding at age 4 and loves horses more than anything, thought it a great idea, and so he's been riding his horse to school down the streets of Pennsylvania where he lives. And I think that'll about do it for tonight. I'm Michael Badger, and if you have any comments or questions about NewsView, you can call the station, or you can email me at newsview@email.com because the other email address is jammed. So that's newsview@email.com, or call us at 217, that's the area code, then it's 384-2452. And if you have any announcements, community event announcements, send those, tell them those, and I'll try to get it. And please try to tell me 2 weeks in advance of the event. I'm Michael Badger. Thanks for watching NewsView. Here comes the weather, and have a great night. Welcome to your NewsView weather forecast for this weekend. Friday night, a low temperature of 57 degrees Fahrenheit. For your Saturday, a high temperature of 82 degrees Fahrenheit and partly sunny. As for Saturday night, it will be mostly cloudy, probably with a low of 57 degrees Fahrenheit again. And then Sunday, a high temperature of 77 degrees Fahrenheit with scattered thunderstorms possible in the area and a low of 56 degrees Fahrenheit and partly cloudy for your Sunday night. This has been your News View weather forecast for this weekend.
There are those moments in life that we treasure. Special times we wish could last longer, that we'd like to enjoy more often. But that's not the way things always are. Every day, each one of us faces situations and challenges that can really make life tough. And yet, no matter what life brings, we can deal with it with confidence and with peace, because there is reason for hope. We're your neighbors, the people of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, and we'd like you to know that with Christ, there's plenty of hope to go around.